Hi. I don't really know how to begin or what exactly I should say, but I'm here because I guess my spirit led me to be here. I've been fighting this for a while, uploading a video, talking, just putting myself out there because I always felt like nobody wants to listen and nobody's going to care. And who am I to, think I could talk about something or give someone some advice or whatever. I think the biggest thing that has stopped me is fear, which is myself. The biggest thing that has ever stopped me is myself. I know I would have already done so many things, or at least tried so many things, if I wasn't so afraid of what people think, and if I wasn't so afraid of failing. But I feel like I've been lying to myself, and I've been doing just enough and still playing it safe rather than just leaping on faith. And I'm at a crossroads right now. A lot of different energy, a lot of different thoughts and feelings that constantly resurfaces, and I choose, or at least try to ignore it, and I can't anymore. I'm 34, according to the government. I'm a Pisces, and I'm the mother of two beautiful, beautiful, beautiful melanin boys. I guess that also scares me too, the fact that I have children and they are at an age where they have their own opinions and judgments, and then they have friends with opinions and judgments as well. I don't want to embarrass them or myself, but I have to be me. And boy, if I could tell you how hard it's been to be me. And I don't even mean that, just getting by or being black in America. It has nothing to do with anything like that. I mean it as just me inside, the part you don't see, the me that everyone has, the soul, the spirit, whatever we call it. I feel like I'm so different from everybody, but I know that I'm not really different, because everyone is the same. Like, we all want the same things. We all strive for the same purpose. At least the human and physical purposes. We all want happiness and love and success and, companionship, all of the things that make us human. So we are all the same, but I feel like I'm different. Like, I really don't fit in with the norm of society. And I've tried. But every time I try, I notice I'm kind of altering myself. And I mean, I guess that could be good, because you have to be able to maneuver in certain situations in order to be a part of society. But I also feel like I haven't been able to just be me, who I am, whoever that is, whatever that means. Especially since I've moved where I currently live, which is Carlisle, Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm proud of that. I love New York. I love Brooklyn. That's my home. Always will be. But I am a child of the universe first and foremost. Let me just say that. But I guess I was raised with certain morals and cultural backgrounds, and just very outside the box. I always label myself to be spiritual and not religious, and I'm very proud of that too. My parents always gave us the information regarding as much as they knew, as far as religion and things of that nature, and then allowed us to make our own decisions upon it. But I respect everyone, and I respect everything. Why am I here? Why am I talking to you? Whoever's listening, who's ever watching. There's been a song in my soul for so long. There's been a story that I have to speak out. And I've tried to sit down and write it. I'm not really good at that yet. I'm still manifesting how to go about that, because I want to write several books, but I think I want to do it and I want to dictate it while someone else writes it down, just because I think it'd be more efficient that way. But I'm here because I feel like I have a lot to say. I feel like there are people that need to hear what I have to say, because they may be able to relate to me. They may see themselves in me or me in them. I may have a story that could resonate within their soul. Like, I may have advice that they could use. You may have advice that I could use. And I guess that leads me back to why would I think I'm good enough to even be here? Sharing, what could I really give you? I don't know. I guess that's up for you to decide if you tag along on this journey. But I do know that when I think about purpose, I think about upliftment. I think about bettering society. I think about bettering human interaction. A lot of times I wish I was born in the ancient time. That would have probably been more my speed. But my belief system is that we all reincarnate multiple times anyway, so I probably was born back in the ancient time as well. I don't know. I've been through a lot in my life, in my short 34 years. And when I compare my life to others, I do understand what my mom meant by, we may not have had the best, but we definitely didn't have the worst. My parents brought us up very cultured, very educated, very aware. I haven't been many places, but at the same time, I have been many places. And I haven't done many things, but I have done many things. And my experiences are just as valid as anyone else. When I think of my purpose, I think of just wanting to be so at peace that I could cause others to be at peace within themselves. And I strive to be so aware that it'll allow others to become aware of themselves. My goal is to continue to raise my consciousness and my vibration so that I can help others raise theirs. I've been really blessed to be here for 34 years. I'm so grateful. And I've been really blessed to experience the things that I've experienced. And I think I'm kind of going to go backwards a little bit. I want to start here so you could just get an idea of who I am. For the past 5.5 years, I've been living in central Pennsylvania, Carlisle. About 2 years ago, I received the most amazing opportunity to open a dance studio, which is something that I've wanted to do, I'll say since, officially, I've wanted to do it since about 2000. Let's say 12. That's when I started Universe in Motion School of Creative Arts in New York. And when I started it, it consisted of just my boys and the boys of Baba John Watusi, which is the former owner of the African Poetry Theater, located in Jamaica, Queens, New York. He has now passed. Fly in peace, Baba John. But he was amazing. And he was very influential in helping me start the original Universe in Motion. It was a dance and drum troupe that I spearheaded along with Kerwin Allen. My two boys here, Baba John grandsons, and these are Kerwin's niece and nephew, and this is my niece, my sister's daughter. We come from a family of performers. My mom had a dance troupe called Africa in Motion, and my grandparents, which those pictures on the wall behind me hanging up, that's my grandparents, my mom, my uncle, my aunt. They had a dance troupe called the Wayusi Kuumba troupe, and we all performed dance and drum from West Africa, mainly Guinea, West Africa. And we've danced with some of the greats, at least, in our circle. Yusuf Kumbasa and Bimba Bangora, John Blanford. I could go on and on. The point is that's the culture that I come from. A huge love for my people, and all people, really, all people. But a huge love for culture, a huge love for tradition, a huge love for the arts. So, in 2012, I was working as a medical assistant. I had just graduated from ASA College in Brooklyn, New York, down by J Street. Shout out to ASA. I just graduated, and I was very proud of that. I've always been in the professional field. I've always had a job since I was 12, and I loved working. And I went to school, and I actually wanted to be a registered nurse. And I planned to continue, but it didn't happen like that. Once I graduated, I worked for 1 year as a medical assistant, and I really enjoyed it. But the place where I worked, they didn't enjoy me as much. There were two women there that really made it hard for me. And I'm not a punk at all, but I'm honestly just not cut for that life, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm a very positive person. I'm a very happy person. And it just wasn't the right fit for me. I got in an argument with the receptionist, and I was fired for it. Even though she was in the wrong, I was fired for it. So after that, it really just kind of threw me for a loop. I was unemployed for a few months. And then a friend of my partner, my business partner, or he became my business partner, but he was my boyfriend at the time. A friend of my boyfriend's reached out to me because he's a drummer and he was drumming at a dance school. And they needed a teacher. They needed a West African dance teacher. Now, mind you, at this time, I haven't taught in years. I grew up in this lifestyle. I've been dancing since I could walk. But, you know, as you get older and things change and you have kids and whatever, I kind of just migrated towards another path. And I really wasn't involved in that cultural aspect of my life as much. But when I got that call that they needed a dance instructor, it's like something in me awoken. And I was just so excited. And I mean, of course, it's like riding a bike. If you're a dancer for over 15 years of your life, you really can't forget how to be a dancer, and you can never lose the love for the culture. So I went down and I auditioned and I got the job on the spot, and that opened a whole new world for me. That really just spoke to my soul on a different level. It gave me purpose again. It gave me a reason for being, you know, other than raising my children and the, you know, regular rigmarole every day. Dance became a reason for me to keep going forward, and it was amazing. So I started working for the Miller School of Dance, and not shortly after that did I decide to start Universe in Motion. And it was a play off of my mom's company, African Motion. I wanted to pay homage to her, as well as continue a tradition that she already started and that she continued from my grandparents and she continued from our ancestors. When I started Universe in Motion, I was so nervous. Again, the scrutiny, you know, the scrutiny, especially from my peers that came up in that movement with me, especially knowing that I kind of was removed from it. So it's the question of, oh, you know, who do you think you are, just coming out with a whole dance company, you know? I got a lot of positive responses from it, but I also got some negative. I got a lot of support from a lot of my people, but I also got some hate. And it's all good because that's life for you, you know? But my motivation kept me strong. And my partner, my business partner and boyfriend at the time, kept me stronger. And we did really good. We did really good. For a whole year, Universe in Motion, we did really good. When Baba John was still here, he graciously allowed us to use the African Poetry Theater for our rehearsal spaces, for our meeting spaces. He is the one that got us booked for shows. We performed at the African Street Festival. We performed at a block party, a yearly block party, a back-to-school event on Jamaica Avenue. We performed at the Ray Wilkins back-to-school bash. It was a few different things that we did, and it was just beautiful to see my children, our children, on stage, continuing the tradition. The African Poetry Theater is also where I did my first poetry and my first spoken word performance. You know, I've always been a poet. I've been writing since I was maybe 11. Um, and I rap as well. And I never got the chance to like be on stage and express that, other than, you know, we was younger and we was in modeling and things like that. And, you know, I performed at my school and different things, but to actually perform at like an open mic type event, with the same kind of people that, you know, are on my energetic flow, it was amazing. It was something. It was something else. And he was so proud of me. Baba John Watusi, he was so proud of me, because I also recited one of my grandfather's poems, and my grandfather was his best friend. And when I recited his poem and I came down and he hugged me and he, you know, got on the mic and he just told me, he told everyone in the audience how much, you know, how emotional it was for him, because him and my grandfather was really close, you know, when they was going in the 60s, when the whole Black Arts movement was going on. My grandparents was very influential in that, and so was he. So once I got a taste of what it was to be a part of continuing that tradition, I felt like I had a job to do. I mean, after all, my parents and my grandparents are so great, and we come from such a rich culture, and we've performed the dance of the ancestors, and it's like, how could I not continue that tradition? So but as all good things come to an end, so did Universe in Motion New York chapter. When Baba John Watusi passed away, it just wasn't the same. The energy wasn't the same. That was kind of like, you know, the end of that chapter. What I knew then too. That was just the end of that chapter. We had to move on. And around that same time is when I got the opportunity to move here, to Carlisle. So I took it. I took it because that chapter was ending, Universe in Motion in New York. My relationship also ended. And like I said, he not only was my boyfriend, but he was my business partner and the instrumental director. So once that ended, it's like, how are we really going to continue? Because that was their teacher. That was their drum instructor. So I took the signs. And also the fact that we lived in the hood. The boys, you know, my boys and I, we lived in Far Rockaway, New York. And at the time, when we moved, they were 11 and 6. And I didn't necessarily want my kids growing up in the hood. You know, my parents, we were raised in a middle-class neighborhood. We had access to the hood, but we was raised in a middle-class neighborhood. So, and they always kept us involved in things. So I wanted to follow that same notion. You know, 2 young black boys living in the hood. No dads present at that time. It would have been very hard to keep them out of trouble. So here I am, Central Pennsylvania. And it's been an experience, to say the least. It's been an experience. I've never lived in a small town. Everyone knows everyone. I mean, everyone knows everyone, and I guess that's a great thing. It is a great thing. It really is honestly a great thing. But coming into that, it's like you're an outsider. It's like you don't belong. I've never really felt embraced by the community in a whole. And that's okay. because I don't think my time here is going to be much longer either. I know I was meant to be here to experience the things that I've experienced and to touch the people that I've touched. But like all good things, that has to come to an end soon. So fast forward to 2 years ago, I got the amazing opportunity to open a dance studio, and I was already on my artistic kick. I have been working as a dance instructor full-time since 2012. So that was for 2 years, you know. From 2012 to 14, I was working as a dance instructor at the Miller School of Dance, and then I also got hired through SASF, which is Sports and Arts and Recreation, something like that. And they placed me at a school in Brooklyn. I was also working through the Y, but it was the Jewish chapter. It was like Young Men's and Young Women's Jewish Association, somewhere in Brooklyn as well. So I had a few different locations that I was working at, teaching dance, teaching West African dance and drum to children. And I would even pick up my boys from school because all the programs that I taught at was after-school programs. So I would pick up my boys and they would drum for me while I would teach the dance classes. And it was so beautiful. It was to see my boys sitting there drumming the rhythms of Mama Africa, and I'm teaching the dance class. It was something. It was something else. That was my full-time job for 2 years. So when I moved here to Carlisle, I did try to reach out to organizations. I even had something lined up before I moved here, but for whatever reason it fell apart. And getting into the school system out here is really difficult. It's nothing like New York. And they don't take art as serious here, unfortunately. At least not cultural arts. So that was kind of like non-existent. I did a few things at the Y, but other than that, it was never really consistent. Excuse me. So I kind of just, did what I had to do and got a regular job at a regular place, and I was doing accounts payable for the next 2.5 years, from 2014 to 2016. And when I tell you, I felt like I was gonna die. Every day I felt like I was gonna die going in that place. In the beginning it was really cool. It was fresh, it was new. It was a corporate office, so I got to dress up and look fancy. They catered lunch at least once a week, so I love to eat, so that was fun. But all of that got old quick. We had a 30-minute lunch break, then 2 15-minute breaks in the morning and one in the evening. They literally timed you if you took too long in the bathroom, so you better not ever have the runs or be constipated. It was just too much scrutiny, and I didn't love it. So I ended up putting in a 2-month notice because I planned to move to Philly. And I chose Philly for numerous reasons. I chose Philly because it was still in Pennsylvania, and I did want to stay out of state. I didn't necessarily want to go back to New York. I also chose Philly because my dad is from Philly. He grew up in Philly, and so he's passed on now. I always felt like living in Philly, paying homage to his roots, even though I don't know where he grew up. But just being in Philly gave me that vibe. Well, we didn't move to Philly because it was way too hood. We went there twice looking for a place, and I would ask people, like, where is the nice parts of Philly? And they'll tell me, and I'll go, and I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, this is the hood. And it would have been fine if I was single, no children, but I couldn't have my children there because if that was the case, I might as well have stayed in Brooklyn or in Queens. So the Philly thing didn't work out, but for good reason. And since I already gave notice to my job, I went ahead with that because, I didn't want to be there anymore anyway. For a person like me to feel like I wanted to scream and shoot everybody every day, it was that told me everything I needed to know. And it had nothing to do with the people. They were great. It was just the atmosphere of being in a 8x8 cubicle. if even it was that big. I don't even know how big it was. But to be in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, staring at 2 computer screens, inputting checks, and it was just too much. And I'm like so environmentalist, if I said that right. And I'm very spiritual and homeopathic and all of those, spooky things. It drove me crazy. It absolutely broke my heart to see how much paper we were wasting. Like, oh my God, we went through so much paper. And it was just normal for them. And I hated it. And I don't hate much, but I hated that. I had to go. After I left there, I worked full-time as a waitress at Applebee's. And I enjoyed that, actually. I enjoyed it because I got to meet people. I got to interact with people. And that was really cool for me because I am very much a people person. I'm as much an introvert that I am an outrovert, if that makes sense. And when I got to, when I was working as a waitress, it was just really cool because it fed my soul, especially when I came across positive people. And, it was when I was working as a waitress that I kind of got the vision that I definitely needed to do more and to be more, if that makes any sense. I remember this one lady, this one beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Caucasian lady, and I think she was there with her daughter, and we were talking, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but somehow we got on the subject of what I want to do with my life. And I was explaining to her that I just want to be a platform for success and happiness and peace, that I want to start organizations to help people, that I want to, save the world. But within talking to her, she was just looking at me, and she was so in awe of the things that I was saying. And I can't remember what she said exactly verbatim, but she said something along the lines of, you are amazing and you need to be on stage and you have a story to tell and you can inspire so many people. And I'm just like, I was very touched, but I'm like, okay, like, who wants to listen to me? I didn't even know what I was saying. And she's like, no, I'm telling you, I mean, you don't belong here. And she was referring to me being a waitress at Applebee's. She said, I can't even believe you're here. I've had a lot of people say that to me. When I tell them that I moved from New York and the culture I come from, I've had a lot of people say, what are you even doing here? Why'd you do that? You're crazy. I remember I met another person on a dating app, this guy, and I guess it was all around the same time frame. And while we're talking, he inspired me so much, and he inspired me because of the inspiration that I gave him. The subject came to, again, what I want to do with my life and things of that nature, and I was telling him about how passionate I am to uplift our people and to get us on the right track and to raise the awareness of the nation and to stop the illusions that's being spread of separateness. All of what I was feeling, we discussed it. And he said something along those same lines of, you need a platform, you have a story to tell, you could inspire so many young girls to be better, to raise their vibrations, to become better women, to raise society. And he told me I needed to do something. So, looking back now, I see a lot. I see chances that I could have took, chances that I screwed up, chances that weren't meant to be chances at all. And then came the chance to open the studio. I was at Applebee's again, and I was waiting on a table, and the people that I waited on, their names are Mr. Juan Rivera, Miss Shirley Hinton, Miss Shirley Hinton, and Missy Sala. And apparently they've been friends for years, and Mr. Juan and Miss Shirley owned the daycare behind my dance studio. And when I met them, again, we got on that subject of what do I want to do, who do I want to be. I don't know why we always get on that subject when I'm talking to people that I'm waiting on, but it's happened a lot. And that came up, and they believed, and I told them I wanted to open a dance studio. And more than a dance studio, a creative arts studio, where there are multiple things going on, multiple art forms, dance classes, yoga classes, open mics. My point was to open a place that everybody could come and just be themselves. Black, white, yellow, red, green, orange, purple. It's not about race or color here. It's just about, well, it's about unity. That's why it's named Universal Motion. And when I told them this vision, they believed in me so much. And Miss Shirley gave me her number. She told me to call her. And she told me about a place for rent right on the other side of her daycare center. I called her. I came down and met with her. And just like she said, there's this beautiful studio for rent where I am right now, 410 East North Street. And all I could think is, how could I do it? I'm a waitress at Applebee's, for God's sakes. Like, how could I do anything this great? But you have to start somewhere. So Mr. Juan told me he would give me the first $500 to put down for rent. And that was enough for me to take the leap of faith. Now, this was almost 3 years in the making, because, like I said, I got the warmth, I got the energy, I got the motivation to do it back in 2012 when I started the original Universal Motion. And from 2012 to 2014, I was pushing it in New York. Then when I came here, I had to step back for a bit because I was so involved in just trying to make it and pay my bills. And then this opportunity came. And it's been an interesting road. It's been an interesting journey. I've learned so much. I've gained so much. This is one of my favorite places to be. I adore it. The goal was to have a place for the community to come and just be whole and happy and free. You know, I wanted to give people the same kinds of opportunities that I had growing up. I wanted people to be able to come and take a dance class on any day of the week, or have a place to rent out to throw their parties and be free, or have an open mic where you snapping your fingers like Love Jones, you know. They don't have that here in Carlisle. They don't have anything like that here. So I figured, well, I could give them that. And when I first opened it, um, well, let me say prior to opening it, I was working at a hair salon, and I gained a lot of customers. So I also had to pay booth rent. So once I opened this place, I just decided to set up my hair station here because why not? It's my studio. It's a huge studio, um, a beautiful studio. And the hair clients has been more consistent than anything. But the dance, it didn't pick up as quick as I thought it would. And I came to realize it's because, well, a lot of people told me before I even started it, a lot of people told me that Carlisle is not cut for what I'm trying to bring. You know, Carlisle ain't really about that life. Like I said, I'm very cultural. I'm very black, if that makes sense. You know, I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm very universal as well. So it wasn't just about that, but I have to be who I am, and I had to bring forth what I know and what I wanted to produce. And so the main attractions for me to provide was West African dance and drum. That was one of the main things that I wanted to do here, to promote, you know what I mean? That and yoga classes, but you could get yoga anywhere out here. And there's a lot of really good, great yoga places and teachers here. So the community just didn't take to me like I thought it would, like I thought it could, like I thought it should. It just didn't happen like that. And it's all good. I wasn't even trying to rhyme, but I had to do that. But so it was kind of discouraging. The other discouraging thing was that I felt like, and I still feel like, I'm pretty much alone in this movement because I'm the only one here that's really interested, as far as I know, that's really interested and qualified to promote West African dance and drum. But I can't do all aspects by myself. Like, you know, I'm a dance instructor, but I need drummers. And my boys are drummers, but they don't feel like they have the support they need. You know, they don't have their teachers here. They don't have their brothers here. They don't have that energy here to make them want to go forward with it. They don't feel strong here. And I understand, because I don't necessarily either. So I'm saying that to say, since I haven't been able to really promote the things that I wanted to do here for the community, and since the community haven't really embraced the foundation of this studio, I always felt like, you know, I'm pushing and pulling, I'm pushing and pulling. And that sucks. My goal has always been the same. Now that I look back, even from a child, I used to want to be a pediatrician. And if you want to be a pediatrician, clearly, one, you have a love for babies. Two, you want to help people. You know, you want to take care of people. And that's still who I am to this day. So I don't necessarily want to be a pediatrician, but I want to help people while helping myself. I want to uplift people while uplifting myself. And I want to love people while loving myself. And I've been trying to think, well, how could I do that? I ain't got no money. So that's what brings me here. Because I don't need money to talk to you all. I could just talk to you all. And this is therapy for me. And maybe to be therapy for you too. My purpose My purpose is to be a part of something bigger. I want to be a part of something bigger. I want to be part of a movement that is going to mean something. I want to be remembered for doing something great, but not for the recognition. Just to have done it, just to have facilitated something really dope. I want to change something. I want our people to stop hurting and stop dying. I want the earth to stop being old. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. My life, my journey. But I just want to be free. I don't want to live under anyone's assumptions, or I don't want to live in my own fears anymore. I don't want to feel like I can't speak my mind because people are going to laugh at me. I just want to be free to be me. So, that was my introduction, I guess. And I plan to talk to you every day. I've been planning this for a while. I've been wanting to do this for a while. And it's been nothing but fear holding me back. I feel like I'm at a turning point in my life right now. I feel like I'm at a crossroads. I feel like this is another chapter coming to an end. And I feel like this is what I want to do next. To speak, to love, and to inspire, to create, to understand, to listen, to heal. These are the things that I want to do with my life right now. So, my name is Shani.